I'm Max Keiser. This is the Keiser Report. You know, donuts are really at the heart and soul of what makes America great. Wherever you look, there's usually a donut behind every great man and woman in America, something like this. It's all happening. Stacy, tell us more.
Max, we've been in New York too long. We've become so American. I'm wearing pajamas, and I'm eating a donut, and we're being arrested. That seems to be what's going on behind us.
I think that's the cops coming to explore the donut holes, because these donut holes have been collateralized by Goldman Sachs to finance some new developments here in New York City, and apparently it's violated the Police Benevolent Association's retirement account. They finally figured out that their retirement is comprised entirely of donut holes. This is what you get after Goldman Sachs steals your money, Police Benevolent Association. PBA.
It could be that, or it could be that they heard that there were some donuts going up here on the rooftop. Because American, I have my
cops
pajamas.
love donuts, don't they? I see a cop down there. Get a shot of this. Hey, copper! Copper, here you go. Donut. Here's one for your buddy. Here's, you got a good one. Yeah. Hey, copper! Hey, I want a donut break. There you go. All the way down to the 30 stories, crashing down onto some police car. But it doesn't matter, because their retirement money's gone.
Now, I might say that it is super hot here in New York City. It's hotter than Hell's Kitchen, which is quite ironic because we're actually recording this in Hell's Kitchen. So, I want to turn to our first headline here, Max. Monkey showers people with stolen cash in northern India. Surprise holidaymakers in the scenic pine forest of Shimla, the state capital, ran around collecting the falling notes for nearly an hour on Sunday, eyewitnesses said. Reports said the simian stole 10,000 rupees, which is about $165, from a nearby home. So apparently, the monkey had gone into the home looking for maybe donuts. They say food, but they couldn't find any food, so instead stole the cash. So I wonder, you know, this is a good comparison to the average population across the world. Here either these people, the holidaymakers scrambling for the cash that the monkeys were throwing, either thought for real that money grew on trees, or that they were taking stolen money. So when the Fed throws money around like that, and people are scrambling, buying all these properties here with that stolen money from the pensioners, from the savers, from the poor, they either think money grows on trees, or they're happy to, you know, run around like monkeys taking stolen money.
Well, this monkey obviously could work as the bank, Federal Reserve Bank chairman, Janet Yellen. I don't know what they pay Janet Yellen or Mark Carney, but the monkey obviously understands that the basis for the Federal Reserve policy today is just to, throw this money away. This is quantitative easing. It's like, yeah, this is how we're going to stimulate demand. Keynes told us to stimulate aggregate demand by throwing away money. Every monkey can understand that. So there's any soundness to the economy? No. Are they financing ISIS with all this free money? You bet. Is the terrorism on America's doorstep because of all the free money? That's right. Is America causing the terrorism that they say that they want on the anniversary of 9/11? Yeah, they are, because they love terrorism. It makes them rich because they're idiots.
Well, I have $3 here. That's enough to put a deposit on one of these luxury apartments going up behind us in Hell's Kitchen, where it's as hot as hell. But that's about all you need with this sort of free monkeys
You can buy an apartment building in this town with collateralized by a freaking donut. It's donuts that run this economy. It's donuts that run America. You don't need actual gold. You don't need money. You don't need gas and oil. You don't need nothing but a donut, baby.
By the way, I did get another prop, which is a monkey on a hammock, but it was too hot to wear them because, again, we're recording this in Hell's Kitchen. And, I wanted to also say that this Goldman Sachs, which you mentioned, could collateralize some of these donuts or collateralize some of these monkey droppings, you know, the 165, the money dropped by the monkey. Well, they're also in the news since we've been here, and that they made a loan of $835 million to the Banco Espirito Santo right before it collapsed, like days before it collapsed. And in fact, Goldman Sachs managed to get caught up in it. They actually lost money in it. Now, they plan to offload it, of course, to chumps, throw it like a monkey. Actually, I think Lloyd Blankfein kind of looks like a simian. Throw it from trees, and hopefully some sucker would get it. But the headline reads, Goldman's special purpose tentacle revealed in Europe's latest bank failure. So the thing about this was that Banco Espirito Santo could not raise money on the market, so they went to Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs sped up a SPIV. SPIVs kind of like donuts and free money, right? And in order for Weiss and Engineering, which is a Chinese firm, to finance the building of oil refineries in Venezuela in order to refine oil, the first deal with the Chinese company in Venezuela. Well, the guy from China got arrested for money laundering, and the deal fell apart. And then days later, Banco Espirito Santo collapsed. So here we have a situation where SPIV got done.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is a great example. Goldman Sachs, as you point out, if they did, quote unquote, lose money, they will get a bailout from the federal government. They will construct some kind of, deal with their accountant to make that loss go away. It's heads, they win, tails, we all lose. There's no losing for them. They got caught red-handed committing financial fraud once again. They're upsetting a foreign country's economic system as they did to Greece. Remember, they destroyed Greece and made money on the destruction of Greece. They're underhanded in their way they approach these markets. They manipulate them. They go around them. They do the SPIB, which is faulty accounting. And there's no accountability. And the result is things like ISIS. Thank you, Goldman. Thank you, ISIS. Goldman, ISIS. Goldman, ISIS. Thank you, Goldman, for ISIS. You finance them. You cause the terror. You're a terrorist. Let's rejoice on 9/11. Thank you so much, Goldman, for 9/11.
Well, let's go back to the story here, because the point is, as we talked about at the top of the show, I mentioned that there was a monkey in India who stole money from a household and threw it over all the forest.
Who looked like Lloyd Blankfein.
This monkey looked like Lloyd Blankfein, allegedly, according to the article, according to some onlookers. But the holidaymakers chased the monkey. The monkey realized that it was all these, first it dropped from locally, and people were like scrambling, and then he went to another tree, and people, like more and more crowds were gathering around this monkey, so the monkey was happily throwing all this money off the trees. Now here we have a situation where Janet Yellen and Ben Bernanke before her, and Alan Greenspan before her, and then we have Mark Carney in the UK, dropping money the same way. They are simians in a tree dropping money. And what you get is the same story, another monkey on the ground, Lloyd Blankfein, doing this deal, whereby they raised this money, by the way, at 3.5%. For a company that got the top shareholder of the company Weiss and Engineering in China got arrested for money laundering. Banco Espirito Santo collapsed within days of this deal, and yet people were willing to lend to them at 3.5%. As Zero Hedge says, so a Chinese criminal entity investing in Venezuela using money from a soon-to-be insolvent Portuguese bank that wouldn't be around in 1 year's time, and who ties it all together? Why, the bank that was telling its clients to invest in the insolvent Portuguese bank all along.
Right, exactly. You can borrow money at 3.5%, even though you're a criminal involved in money laundering or terrorism. But if you're out there on the high street or a regular schmo and you need to borrow money to start a business, you either can't get the money or they charge you 8, 9, 10, 15%. Or you go to a payday lender, they charge you 30% or 4,000% on an annualized basis. So yeah, crime pays. Crime has never paid more than it does now. They finance it, they underwrite it, they profit from it. They let the monkeys do their hard work, and the cops, all you got to do to keep the cops away is throw donuts at them. Goldman's got a whole file cabinet full of donuts. Every time the regulators and the cops show up, they just throw donuts at them, and they go, okay, we'll stop. It's okay. We got the cream donut.
So here we have a system run by monkeys throwing money from trees and from the New York Fed and the Federal Reserve Bank in Washington, D.C. U.S. judge dismisses aluminum price-fixing litigation. Yes, I could say aluminum. I'm here in New York. It's called aluminum here. It's not called aluminium. The plaintiffs had accused Goldman Sachs, J.P. Morgan, and the large mining company Glencore and various commodity trading, metals mining, and metals warehousing companies of having colluded since May 2009 to manipulate prices by hoarding inventory. So they did this by basically you would put in your delivery order, you would request delivery on your order of aluminum, and it would take up to 16 months. So in that time, you were paying for warehousing fees, and it drove up the profits for Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, and Glencore. Well, it also drove up the price, obviously, of cabinets, flashlights, strollers, swimming pool enclosures, cans of Coca-Cola to go with your donut. And the judge found that in her 85-page decision, U.S. District Judge Catherine Forrest in Manhattan said that there was no showing that the defendants intended to manipulate prices, though it was clear that their actions affected the aluminum marketplace. Quote, as cast in the complaints, this was an unintended consequence of rational profit maximizing behavior rather than the product of conspiratorial design, she said. So here she takes, Max, here this woman, Judge Catherine Forrest, takes Adam Smith's thing and says that the monkeys in the trees throwing the money to these people who are scrambling for the stolen money, this is rational maximizing profit behavior.
Right, exactly. This repudiates all we know about economics. That she has no idea what economics works. Obviously, if you allow for fraud, this is what Adam Smith warned about in Wealth of Nations and the Theory of Moral Sentiments. When you allow people to get together and collude and fix prices, as these bankers do, you're going to have a destruction of the price discovery mechanism. The invisible hand is worthless if you allow fraud to take place on this epic scale. So clearly, the judge has no, I don't know why they would have a judge who's an imbecile, who's a financial illiterate, who has no idea actually how these markets work. Obviously, unless, we're going to find out in a year or two, yeah, she took a big fat bribe.
So let's look at, for example, JP Morgan. They bought Henry Bath, which has been established since 1794. So they're one of the founding members of the London Metals Exchange. So we have over 200 years of data on how long it's taken them for 200 years to deliver on clients requesting their delivery.
Right, 200 years of data. It makes a perfect 200 years of records to make an informed decision. The judge looked at 200 years of data and made a ruling that repudiates everything that was staring you right in the face. That is the definition of crony capitalism. When the judicial system is in the pocket of bankers to rig markets, that's crony capitalism.
And to tie it to the top, where I said this monkey stole money from somebody's house and threw it from the trees, that was rational profit maximizing that this monkey was doing. So those people who want to say, oh, we should trap this monkey, put it in one of those monkey prisons, because there are monkey prisons in India, by the way, because they're sacred, just like bankers are here, just like Lloyd Blankfein, by the way, doing God's work. Well, obviously, he thinks he's one of those monkeys in India, which are sacred and get thrown in special monkey prisons.
Put him at the head of the Bank of India, at least, or the ECB. Mario Draghi, he's not doing any better than this monkey. Johnny Yellen's not doing any better than this monkey. Save some money. Just put the monkey in charge. All right, well, Stacy, we've attracted a whole crew of cops downstairs looking for more free donuts, as well as bankers looking for free money. We've got it all. Thanks for being on the show. Don't go away. Much more coming your way.
When we think of Hawaii, we think of paradise. Coral sand beaches, coconut palms gently swaying in the ocean breeze. In fact, Hawaii has a deep, dark little secret, a secret the U.S. government wouldn't like you to know about.
They took our language, they took our land, they took our identity, nearly succeeded in taking our will to live.
Get back to the land.
Right from the scene. First-rate news and eye-gripping pictures. On our reporters' Twitter and Instagram. To be in the know, follow us online.
Turn off your TVs. This is RT, and we're a propaganda bullhorn.
Propaganda bullhorn? that is the state-sponsored Russia Today program.
Just words, but that should be enough, right?
I don't think I'm going to analyze this further.
That is just ridiculous.
Non-answer to my question.
Uh-oh, Johnny's not happy. Our reporters risk their safety and sometimes their lives all over the world to bring people stories non-propaganda channels don't want you to see. And we cover both sides.
I'm Erin Abe. Join me on Boom Bust for in-depth, impartial, and en vogue financial reporting, commentary, interviews, and much, much more. Only on Boom Bust and only on RT.
Welcome back to the Keiser Report. I'm Max Keiser. Time now to turn to Steve Favis of FavisInc.com. Steve, welcome to the Keiser Report.
Thank you for having me, Max.
All right, Steve, first of all, tell us about your company. What is it that you guys do?
Well, we're software developers, basically. We handle primarily focusing on gaming and gaming technology. We stay platform neutral, and we go with whatever technology is best.
Where are you located?
We're located in Sacramento, California, yeah.
Okay, and the gaming industry is huge. It's like, how big is it?
We're looking at maybe at this year, maybe 25 billion gross around the world.
Right, so that's 3 times as big as the movie industry.
That's correct, yeah. Surpassed the movie industry around 2000 something.
All right, now, you know, we talk a lot about on this show how people game the system, game financial markets, manipulate markets. It involves manipulating indexes.
Absolutely.
It involves misrepresenting data a lot of times. You're in the business of gaming, and you come across, you know, the iTunes, and it relates to the app market, the application market. Is this similar to the Dow Jones in that it kind of tells you what the market is, first of all, and is there rigging in this market?
Absolutely. The most blatant case of rigging has been the Flappy Bird story. So this Flappy Bird was actually chosen by bots, and I mean that these robots or these automated programs are actually choosing which applications actually make it to the top of the iOS store. Now, for a large software company such as Zynga or EA, they have the distribution network to put a banner campaign to actually launch major applications. But for small developers that come out of nowhere and they all of a sudden are on the top of the charts, especially with a technically low and not very beautiful or difficult game to make, basically.
Right, so let's just touch on Flappy Birds for a second.
Yeah.
So this was an app. It's a game.
Yes.
It's on your phone.
Yes.
There's a little bird that's flapping its wings.
Yes.
And it's riding around through, like, what I guess you could call pistons.
That's right,
And
yes.
you're trying not to get crushed
Yes.
by the pistons.
Yes.
It's a very simple game.
Yes.
And yet it was generating $50,000 a day in advertising revenue, correct?
That's correct, yeah, 50,000 a day.
Now, what's the cost of creating a game like that?
Well, my team could build that game in about 2 to 3 hours.
For a cost of?
What if
Few
500,
thousand.
less than a few thousand even.
A couple $100.
Exactly, that's correct, yes.
And it's generating $50,000 a day in revenue, this advertising revenue.
Yes.
But they suddenly decided to pull it from the market. Because why? They don't like making money, or what's going on?
Exactly. We suspect, a lot of people suspect that Apple found the bot manipulation, a chart coming out of nowhere, basically, a game coming out of nowhere, and we suspect that Apple approached the developer in Vietnam and said, hey, you know what, we see you're using some sort of a bot or a burst technology, marketing technology to increase your downloads.
Right, and this, of course, would kind of be very obvious at that point. But, you know, looking at the broader market, the Dow Jones, the S&P index, the features index, a lot of people say that there is a complete and rampant manipulation. Let me get your comment on something, because, you know, when I created the Hollywood Stock Exchange back in the mid to late 1990s, it was a simulation based on the stock market. People are buying and selling movies and stars. I created a technology, the virtual specialist technology,
Yes.
and I created it to be like exactly what goes on in the stock market, so that there was some manipulation. But I was told at that time that they didn't want any manipulation in that market because the gamers had a higher standard than the people trading on the stock exchange. I mean, in other words, the standard for the gaming industry, I was told at that time, was you couldn't have any simulation of a real market, of market manipulation, even if that's exactly how it's done. So now what you're telling me is that this gaming market is so corrupt that there's very little that's not completely manipulated.
Absolutely. The best games are not making it to the top. The most well-marketed or botted games are making it to the top right now. Flappy Birds was the most blatant example of that.
Now, when you look at the Dow Jones trading near 17,000 on the Dow Jones Index, it can be said that with the bots on the New York Stock Exchange, 80% or more of the volume on these exchanges are bots. The exact same bots that you're describing in the gaming industry are buying and selling stocks on the floor of the exchange, correct?
Absolutely, that's correct, yes.
So these indexes are giving as much valid information as Flappy Bird.
Absolutely, that's right, absolutely.
Warren Buffett is the king of Flappy Bird on the Dow Jones. He's the Flappy Bird of king of Dow Jones.
That's right, yeah, exactly. King of the bots.
So what do you do going forward, Steve? Do you just kind of go with the flow, or do you, because my technology was acquired by a bank here on Wall Street, Cantor Fitzgerald, and they warehouse it because they realize that it could be used to make markets honest, and they don't want that because then their profits would disappear. So they warehouse the technology.
Absolutely.
What do you do going forward, Steve? Do you try to combat it? Do you go with the flow? What do you think?
Well, speaking out about it, I think is important, but it's Apple's App Store. They do what they want with it. That's why we say as platform neutral as possible because of these types of technological mishaps that can happen, something like this. So what we're most likely going to do is we're probably going to stick with other platforms and speak out about it, and hopefully it doesn't happen to all the other platforms we move to or whatever. So.
Yeah, you mentioned Zynga, which is a gaming platform. They do Farmville, for example. You can grow virtual strawberries.
Yes.
They have embraced Bitcoin. They're talking about companies embracing Bitcoin. Bitcoin is uncorruptible.
Absolutely.
According to many.
Yes.
Would you agree?
I sincerely agree. I think the biggest catalyst for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies is absolutely in the game industry. In-app purchasing or microtransactions. Once people learn how to use smaller transactions and the transactions become smoother and easier for the cryptocurrencies or specifically Bitcoin, it's going to start training people that Bitcoin is a good, safe alternative to other forms of in-app purchasing. Okay, so microtransactions, in other words, if you got a game where you're battling aliens and you need to buy some kryptonite, yes, you can buy 1/1000th of a penny of kryptonite using Bitcoin because it's divisible to something like 1 million places. And this is actually unlike a fiat currency where that transaction would make no sense whatsoever. With Bitcoin, it can be done, and therefore there's a certain economies of scale that kick in? Absolutely, and more money comes to the developer too. There's less transaction fees through the payment processing or the store it's in, basically. So it's more money to the developer, and the costs are actually cheaper to the actual players and users of the games or software.
And then, of course, the Bitcoin is used around the world, so you get gamers from all different countries simultaneously. That's another barrier that comes crashing down with Bitcoin, right?
Absolutely, that's right, yeah. So we have less transaction fees, significantly less transaction fees per game internationally.
Because, and if in fact it's uncorruptible, so the gaming industry could be an example of an uncorruptible free market versus the Dow Jones, which, unless they adopt Bitcoin, will be relegated to a corrupt cesspool of fraud.
Absolutely, that's right, exactly.
Do you agree with that?
I sincerely agree with that, that's right.
Now, let me pitch you an idea, because you're a game man, a gamer, a game software developer.
Yes.
How many people you have working with you?
We have about 15 people consistently on an agile team. We hire them on demand, and we hire more depending on the client needs or whatever project we're working on.
So let me pitch you an idea. You tell me if this is a good idea.
Okay.
Okay, I got StartJoin, which is a crowdfunding site.
Yes.
We've got StartCoin, which is our cryptocurrency we give away to people. They just show up, we give them coin, we just give it away.
Yes.
What about this as an idea? People who come to the site, they can use their StartCoin to buy virtual representations of buildings in London, like the Gherkin Building, the Tower of London, Buckingham Palace, the Crown Jewels, and they try to collect everything that is London. It's like Farmville, they've got the whole farm with the strawberries and the tractors.
Yeah.
This is a virtual London using our own cryptocurrency. As a game manufacturer and developer, what do you think of this idea?
I think it's a good idea. A lot of people like the surprise element, the collectibles. Those are they sell very, very well. People love buying stuff and collecting stuff and actually finishing the game and actually collecting all those objects or whatever they are in the game. So I think that might be something that would sell really well, especially in the London area or the UK area, basically.
Let's talk about another aspect of the emerging technological wave and interesting platforms, and that would be crowdfunding.
Yes.
Because you're actually got a new game, the Bankster game.
That's correct.
We're doing
yes.
some crowdfunding on Start Join.
That's correct.
And as part of that effort, we also have created another cryptocurrency, the Start Coin, which we give away to users. We give them a Start Coin for free, just for showing up and participating on the platform. Have you looked at that model, and do you think it'll be a good way to help people avoid the cesspool that is the fiat money?
Absolutely. I think cryptocurrencies, Startcoin is definitely one of the best starts that I've seen so far. We definitely, like I said, I'm very, very bullish about the whole cryptocurrency market, and so far I see Startcoin as a very good promising method for actually starting to get some real money and velocity of money moving around for new and emerging technologies, basically.
Tell me about something that I just learned about recently, which is incredible because it's huge.
Yeah.
And that is Twitch. What is Twitch?
Twitch TV is a service where you actually get to watch other gamers game, and a lot of people are watching other gamers game. This is one of the biggest unexpected trends in the gaming industry, and people playing games actually have a fan base playing games, basically. So some of them have millions of users watching them play up to 20 hours a week or even more.
They spend 20 hours a week watching gamers game on a gaming network called Twitch. They don't play themselves. They're just watching other people play games.
Absolutely, that's right. Let's get you on Twitch TV. Let's see you play some video games.
All right. I'll kick some serious virtual make some Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Now, when I hear you talk about gaming and virtual markets,
yes.
You know, it reminds me so much of everything that I was doing back in the 90s, creating the Hollywood Stock Exchange, virtual currencies, virtual
yes.
market making, virtual securities.
Yes.
And it seems like almost the foundation for the entire industry. When you visit other gamers and even at your own shop, is there a portrait of me on the wall, kind of like as you're the patron saint of the entire virtual gaming industry? Do you say like a salute me or prayer to me every day, Max Keiser, the inventor of all this?
Yeah, well, there's no picture of you yet. Maybe if depending on how
I don't see why not. Yeah, we can send some over there to the wall of your office. Yeah. I mean, you go to some of these places, there's a picture of the Pope everywhere, or you know, you go to some countries, there's the leader, the Queen. She's on all the money all over the UK. Why shouldn't every gaming? The Keiser Fitzgerald should have a portrait of me on their wall. Without me, they would have never recovered from their mishap going back, you know, to 2001.
Yeah.
You know, they owe me.
Yeah.
I get nothing.
Well, I always tell my developers to look at finance as a canary in the coal mine to see how things are going to go for their industry, basically. So,
how's the industry doing globally? Is it mostly in Asia, the U.S., Silicon Valley, London?
China's exploding right now. There's partnerships with telecom for most of the in-app purchasing right now, but China's starting to really grow big. But America, by the individual country, is still the largest as of now, but I think China might be exceeding that very soon.
That's all the time we have. Steve Favis, thanks so much for being on the Keiser Report.
Thank you for having me, Max.
And that's going to do it for this edition of the Keiser Report with me, Max Keiser and Stacy Herbert. I'd like to thank our guest, Steve Favis of FavisInc.com. Tweet us at Keiser Report. Until next time, bye, y'all.